talking and thinking to myself about books, travel, news, everything at random and at great speeds, that of a distracted mind. Thoughts, reactions, takeaways, and all that. Sounds exactly what I like to do, so here I am. Hi there, hello. Hope you're doing great. Welcome to my podcast channel that I call Solilog Quest. I essentially talk to myself and hopefully through that, with you, to you, if you are tuned in. And if you are, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, what's up, guys? How is it going? Hope only too well for you, but on the other hand, we had quite a windstorm, quite a squall last night in parts of Massachusetts, knocking off stems, branches, figs, leaves, and even some trees. So, all of the while, I kept waking up and I was just worried sick about the open parking and the car. And I did get out once or twice to just see that from the window, but all's well. Alright, I appreciate that you're tuned in, and slowly and steadily we are trying to grow this channel. It is slow pace, I would say, but with your support it is happening. Thank you so much. Please continue subscribing, sharing, liking my content. Thank you, really. Alright, so there's quite a few things to cover. As always, for video, I would continue to share my journey on CapeCod, Massachusetts. If you missed out previous videos, I traveled from central part of Massachusetts to the starting of the Cape till about Bone Bridge. And thereon, this is all CapeCod Drive. I'm not sure if you like it, but I really love it, and and I just thought I could share it with you. It is going to go. We are going to go on this drive till the very end to Herring Cove Beach, right at the tip of Cape Cod near Provincetown. I figured, as I said earlier, it is better to show the video of the drives than my solo talking face. So suit yourself, mute the audio, or just watch the drive, or chime in with the audio with all that is happening around us. And either way, hope you would be able to relate to this content and the soliloquy all along. Alright, let's dive into these two books that I finished reading recently, I think last week itself. In fact, one of them just about last night. One of them is A Land So Strange, which is a journey of survival across the early era of wilderness of North America. And the other one is the second book of Jim Rogers, The Adventure Capitalist. That's the name of the book. I'm not trying to, portray him. It's called The Adventure Capitalist, which is almost a sequel to his earlier one called Investment Biker, which I covered in an earlier episode, which you can watch on my channel. Feel free to do so. Both of these are travelogues of their own time and era, but they're real solid ones. After reading these, I felt so embarrassed of my solo travels, which I did during my 20s, mostly within India, as pseudo as can be. And I've thought to myself of taking down my FB posts and photos and stuff. These are the real deal, the real alpha vagabonds. What was I doing? I don't know. Anyway, beginning with The Capitalist and his adventures, which is as recent as 1990s. Though this book is very similar to his earlier one, but the experiences are new, are fresh again, and of course, they show the world. They show that the world is huge, and with so many people, their lives, their cultures, their struggles, and imagine the permutations and combinations when his interactions happen with them, which throw a million different possibilities. So here is one thing which I felt quite strongly about. Most of the times, I think he got away with all the bleak possible outcomes that could have been because of his nationality. He's American. And him being an American is, not an easy. It's not an easy thing for anyone to pick up on him or just go about doing something without, at the back of their mind, sparing a thought of the adverse outcome it could do, or it could lead to in their own lives. Well, that's just my take. I mean, there were some occasions which he shared of corruption, and I don't know, all those things that happen in the world. We all know, and is that it could have gone south any moment. But then he lives through the trail to share this amazing book. Thank God for that. Nevertheless, the experiences that he shared are real. And for me, I almost experienced this book as if I have a GoPro camera on his shoulder. I mean, I can't help but being a guy from this age of influencers and all that, where we all take up Insta videos, etc., and post them. So that's the reference I could give. I actually felt I'm an audience participating in the experience from a GoPro camera live, and that goes to show how the book's strength in taking the reader on an experience of their own. To talk a little openly, frankly, I am such a chicken. After reading this, I felt even more so. I'm such a chicken to even considering the prospect of traveling to certain parts of the world, which he does. So I figured I could live vicariously through this book. I mean, he goes into parts of Mongolia and Western China and Eastern Europe, Africa, South American, disturbed areas, and whatnot. There were moments where I experienced envy and jealousy, no denying that. But what do? I mean, I surrendered to the pleasure of this carefree travel that I could do sitting on my desk, while people like him, go on about doing the real work and real experience. But that's about it. I mean, go ahead, find this book, read for yourselves, because of course it's not something that's I can disclose the whole each and every experience, because that's something you got to experience with the book. But this book is amazing. 1990s is when he travels the second time. I think 1999. If you missed out on the early one, find that out as well. The Investment Biker. Both the books are good. Quick read, but great takeaways from what happens in this on what happens in this world, what goes around, the different political conditions, social conditions, and all that. How to navigate them. Not an easy thing. You got to be really smart and think on your feet at times to just survive. All right. Anyhow, moving on. The second book. Now, the second book is from an intersection of the two areas which kind of strike a lot of interest in me. Travel, of course, is one, and the second is American history. Yep, that's and it's a confluence of the two great aspects of our world right now. So this book offers such a time travel on what this country really was, America, back in those days before its so-called discovery. And that's such a superfluous word with no meaning. It's just such a modern day construct that you discovered a country. I mean, it was already there. Anyways, it's so-called discovery by the Europeans, and which changes the course of human history, if you know what I mean, and takes it to another level. This book, it covers the accounts of a Spaniard who literally walked across the American continent or American the wilderness, if you will, after his ship wrecked in the Caribbean Gulf, and this is set in the era of 1500s. So right from the get-go, I could feel as if I'm on board a time machine, and as if the introduction was written just to in the similar vein as a takeoff script is ranted off by stewards and in an airplane before the flight takes off, asking me to fasten the seatbelts, and off we go. This is the second time, though, I mean, I felt this strongly towards American history. The first book was Every Man a Speculator, and I keep repeating that in my podcast, but I don't know why. In fact, that's a book, I think I finished it, but feeling that I need to read it again, and similar is this one. There's just so many nuggets that I can't remember all of them, and that makes me want to go back, look at it from fresh perspective, a different mood each time I pick up the book. In fact, Every Man a Speculator, I ended up picking that book so many times over so many months, again and again, and I still don't know what I read because it's so intense. I mean, the complications, the spoils of early days of capitalist machinations by the East Coast barons and businessmen. It's so complicated that I'm like, how dumb am I that I can't even understand how they manipulated it, playing by the rules, or in fact sometimes violating the rules and all that. So anyway, this is the second time American history has really invoked a lot of interest in me. Coming to this book, yeah, let's not digress. He was this Spaniard that we were talking about, and you ends up narrating it all. He was a part of the mission sent from Spain to colonize the faraway lands of America, or in America, as in and around America. But as the best laid plans are bound to go awry, these guys get hit by hurricanes and get thrown off their set path. Add to that misery the rudimentary navigation techniques and tools they had. They're set off the mark and are doomed, in a way, I would say. I mean, not in a way, but they are doomed. The shipwrecked men go on foot, and it turns out into a whole Survivor series one-on-one about, they make makeshift rafts across the Gulf, staring at starvation in the hinterlands. And guess what? Only 3 Spaniards and a slave survive out of hundreds of them. I think there were 200 or 300 worth of strong crew, and guess what? 4 people survived, and maybe even 400 people were there. And it is these castaways who undertake this treacherous walk across the wild American landscape, Texas, Florida, Louisiana, and they just keep going wild west, and they're enslaved by tribes, local tribes of that era, and they keep on with their journey for years towards the Pacific in search of some home or some sort of reprieve, and then onwards towards Mexico, where they meet with the other Spanish expeditions and are rescued to tell all. Thankfully, some of them, 3 or 4 of these guys. It's one of these guys. I'm forgetting the name. It's a Spanish name. Capo di Pasa. I'm sorry, I forgot it. One of them shares the account of this journey, living with the nomads, tribes, learning the new languages to survive, cultures, rituals, hardships, the new plants, herbs, animals. The real America, in a way that no outsider had seen before the European settlers would even arrive, and alter the face of it by making their own narrative of America as we know it today. And that's the most amazing part. I mean, oof. I'm sure there are many more books with even more interesting stuff, and it's not about picking on history and this side and that side. It's just about the fact that this was what it was, and people experienced hardships on both sides. Even these guys, I mean, these are humans we're talking about, living from Spain in the brutal elements of nature, Atlantic, hurricanes, getting shipwrecked, having to live through starvation, hunger, and all that. Sometimes books such as this make me feel a pinch of not having some superpower to read everything, to be able to just read everything, every account, every book possible. I mean, when the hell would this augmented intelligence come to help us humans to easily do all that somehow? I wish I could read it all. Just like AI is reading the whole of the internet right now. I mean, yeah, fine. I mean, let's not go there, but that's what what I mean. It just takes so much time to just finish a book at times, and then process it, and then kind of, for a person like me, have to talk to myself like this in a soliloquy to be able to say something, and then at times I blurt out something, and then later on I'll realize, no, I should have said this instead of that, and that clears the thoughts. It's such a long process, it's such a slow process, that if that takes, let's say it takes a day and a half or even 2 days to finish a book in its entirety. I mean, how many books am I going to finish anyway? It is sad. But then, thankfully, the respite and the good part is at least one I was able to finish, and it's as lovely as this one. Well, that brings me to the end of this video. I've covered the 2 books which I really wanted to. I really enjoyed these 2 books, and even on the drive that I went for, this CapeCod, the sunny day out on a Saturday, perfect weather. I am still trying to reminisce this particular drive. It happens in quite a few days and weeks that the weather is this good that you could consider driving all the way down. It's quite a wide distance away from my house, so I'm not sure if somebody could relate to this, the pleasure of being on the Cape, but I truly enjoy this, and I thought, well, that's the only good thing I could share. So I'm here sharing this video. It's still 2/3 to the end of the Cape, And I'm probably going to use the rest of the video for the rest of the content, which I'm going to come up with soon, which is a lot of news that is happening around, and we'll talk about that in the next episode. Until then, thank you for watching, thank you for being tuned in, and until next time, have a good one. Bye bye.